So Arkansas is still on their um, plan, still on track to carry out these 8 executions within 11 days. As of maybe 30 minutes ago, it says days after Arkansas pushed back on legal challenges and carried out its first execution in more than a decade, officials there returned to the execution chamber Monday to carry out one death sentence and planned for a second later that night. So they've already killed one man, and they have another one that they're going to kill later on this evening. The back to back lethal injections, if both are ultimately carried out, would be the country's first double execution since 2000, when Texas, really? I live in Texas, that's why I say that. When Texas executed 2 convicted murderers, in the first time a state has attempted to carry out 2 death sentences in one night since a widely publicized botch in Oklahoma in 2014. Now, the thing is that the main concern they're having is that the people who are carrying out these executions, because it's so much pressure to do it in such a short amount of time, that something could go wrong. They could have a mishap. So Jack H. Jones Jr. and Marcel W. Williams, both of whom have been on Arkansas death row since being convicted of brutal murders 2 decades ago, sought to delay their lethal injection scheduled to take place in a state prison southeast of Little Rock. Both men appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday, which is today. The Supreme Court denied Jones's request about an hour before the executions were set to begin at 7 p.m. Monday in Arkansas. Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr., who was assigned cases from the federal circuit covering Arkansas, referred the request to the full court, which denied it without explanation. Justice Sonia Sotomayor was the only member of the court to register a dissent. Jones was pronounced dead at 7:20 p.m., 14 minutes after his lethal injection got underway, which had a reporter serve as a media witness. Williams' appeal was still pending after Jones's execution ended. Now, I do feel like Arkansas is trying to, compete or trying to be the first state to ever, have that many executions in a short amount of time. And I feel like they're leaving so much room for error that I feel like one of these days, the next few men who are going to be executed, something's going to happen. Now, they've already executed one man, a black man, Liddell Lee, and they have these 2 men. I believe there's 2 more black men and 3 more white men that they're going to be executing. But it says these lethal injections were planned as part of a schedule in Arkansas that would have been without parallel in modern capital punishments. Governor Asa Hutchinson set 8 executions to occur in pairs, scheduling them back to back on 4 nights this month. And while most executions occur with little public notice, the timetable in Arkansas drew unusual attention and some criticism. Of course it would, because you're just trying to kill these men in a short amount of time for what purpose? What's the reasoning? Attorneys for the inmates filed a volley of appeals seeking to delay the executions, while 24 former corrections officials wrote a letter to Hutchinson asking him to reconsider the schedule. They warned that the schedule was needlessly exacerbating the strain and stress placed on the people carrying it out, and saying the timetable could increase the chance of an error occurring. Arkansas officials have defended this schedule as necessary because their stock of midazolam, a common sedative that has provoked controversy over some executions and is one of 3 products used in the state's executions, expires at the end of April. Due to an ongoing shortage of lethal injection drugs, Arkansas authorities said they are not sure if more can be obtained. So needless to say, they still have 5 more men that they need to execute by Sunday. Leslie Rutledge, the state's attorney general, pledged to fight attempts to delay the remaining executions, saying that families have waited far too long to see justice. And the thing is, if there's DNA proof to exonerate any of these men, we're not going to find out until after they've already been dead. And that's years later that happens. Jones, 52, was sentenced to death in 1996 for raping and killing Mary Phillips. According to court records, Jones stalked and killed Phillips, a bookkeeper, and before killing her, he beat her 11-year-old daughter so severely that police thought she was dead when they got to the scene. Jones's attorneys have argued in court that he has medical conditions that could result in the Arkansas execution method causing him severe pain. In a filing, his attorney said Jones has diabetes, hypertension, and several other conditions that can cause him to be on medication that could bring intense or painful suffering because of a possible tolerance to the sedative used in a lethal injection. State officials argue that Jones's challenge involves guesswork about the sedative and is no different than the many lethal injection challenges he has filed before. U.S. District Judge Christine Baker denied that motion Friday, saying Jones's case did not show a significant possibility that the lethal injection process could cause that pain and suffering. So, needless to say, they just want all these men to die. They just want all of them to be dead and to be done with it and it to be over with. But my thing is, the men who were granted their stays for this month, since the drug is going to expire at the end of April and they have really no means to get any more, or they didn't know if they're going to get any more, what's going to happen to those men? Are they just going to serve out or have their sentence changed to a life sentence? This leaves so many questions. Another question I have is the people who are administering this drug, who are carrying out these executions, what is their mentality like? Because you're sitting here, you have to kill all these men in a short period of time. And the thing is, having to kill one person, what kind of toll does it take on their mentality? How do you get a job like that? How do you, after killing this person, how do you go about your life? You know what I'm saying? And the fact that people would agree to do that, and they're not even caring about the mental toll of these people. Like, first of all, you're not the person who is giving these people the lethal injection. You're not the person that has to carry out these executions. So for you to sit here and be like, oh, we want to kill 2 inmates per night, 1 should be enough. What are y'all's thoughts? I really want to know.